Hey everybody, it's Femtrooper, and today we're going to be talking about the girl gamer stereotype. Let's just say it right now. Let's just, go right into it. The term girl gamer needs to go. Like, it needs to go away right now. I'm not a girl gamer. I'm just a gamer. When I went to university, I was never a female student or, a girl student. I was a student who went to university. I really, really hate the term girl gamer, for starters, because, it just automatically assumes that the norm is, obviously the male gamer. And that's just not true. So many women play video games now. I realized that when video games first, it got really super popular, like in the 80s, it was mostly men. I'm not gonna say it was half women or something when it most likely was not. Everything was targeted to men. Men were the ones playing video games. Today, so many girls play video games. And they don't also just play the stereotypical games that people think they do. Not every girl plays Candy Crush on their phones. Not every girl plays The Sims. Not every girl plays Animal Crossing. And not every girl plays otome visual novels. Despite a lot of women playing video games today, like in 2015, video games are still marketed mainly towards men, which really alienates a lot of women from actually playing the games themselves. It really makes a lot of women who are maybe not into gaming more likely to try some of the, stereotypical female games like The Sims or like Candy Crush. They're more likely to try those games than they are, say, something like Uncharted or Final Fantasy. They're not as motivated to try because they're very marketed towards men. Have you seen a Call of Duty commercial? Last time I checked, Call of Duty commercials don't include women. They don't, have you ever seen a Grand Theft Auto commercial where there's been a woman playing a game? It's very rare. You won't see this kind of stuff because they think most of the people buying the games are male. Now, with a game like Call of Duty, I would assume that majority of the people playing the game are probably male. But I guarantee you that it isn't, like 98 to 2%. There are lots of women who play, first-person shooters. And there are also a lot of men who play, like, JRPGs that are less on, like, say, violence and more on story and emotions. So it's a weird thing because even a game that is maybe less, stereotypically masculine, like Call of Duty or Battlefield, a game that, like Final Fantasy, that has so much heart and emotion, it still is being so targeted towards men, and men are playing those games. Men love, Final Fantasy. Men are playing these games, yet it doesn't matter who's playing. Video games, it's for men. Even Tomb Raider, it's for men. It's a female character. Metroid, it's a female character. For men, I guess it bothers me, just a little, because I feel like I'm treated a little bit differently because I happen to be female and I happen to be a gamer. So sometimes that can mean my opinion doesn't mean as much. It can mean that I don't know anything because I'm female. It could also mean that I probably don't play certain genres because I'm a woman. So I think what just frustrates me is that I play lots of genres, I have everything, like all sorts of games in my collection that, from visual novels to RPGs, to platformers, to shooters, to sports games. I can play a game like Danganronpa and then go right into a game like NHL. It doesn't matter. Like, I like everything. Because I like a good story, I like a good game, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, totally AAA, cliche, whatever, extremely masculine. I thought it was amazing. I loved Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. It was fantastic, looked great, played great. It was just a really solid game. Then there's games like Chrono Trigger, which are excellent, full of great story, great characters, great gameplay, totally lasting. It's the kind of game I wanted to be a movie, completely different, obviously still using fighting, but completely different from something like Call of Duty. I play all sorts of games, and I don't just play, stereotypical games aimed at women. I guess sometimes being a gamer, I get weird reactions from people, and this might just be from being a gamer and has nothing to do with me being, female. But sometimes it's like, why would you play a game like that? That's kind of weird. Why would you play that? I can remember one time when I used to work at a music store and we actually sold games for a while. This one guy wanted to buy Uncharted. I don't remember if it was the second or third. I believe it was the third, whatever. He asked me, it was behind the counter, it was a new release. He asked me for Uncharted, and he sort of went on to explain, like, what it was. Kind of, like, in a condescending way, like, it's the game over there with the guy on the... Like, it was kind of like, I don't know. It's almost like when people would ask for, like, Abbey Road by the Beatles, and they'd say, excuse me, do you have Abbey Road? And then quickly go, it's by the Beatles? Like, thanks. I had no idea. Anyway, so it's kind of the same thing. He went on to explain what it was. It's that game back there with the guy standing in front of the thing exploding. And I'm like, I know what Uncharted is. I've actually played them. Like, I just bought that game myself because I think it was a new release at the time. And he kind of seemed like really shocked and embarrassed that he would even have said that to me. And I was just like, okay, like, just because I'm a woman or that I have boobs doesn't mean I don't play adventure games. Like, it was really odd. Like I would only play, like, Nintendogs or something, or Cooking Mama, or so, I don't know. Like, it was really strange to me. I was like, maybe in the 80s, if you were like, oh, if you were a girl who played, like, Dragon Warrior, maybe that was a bit like, whoa, okay, fair enough. She's not playing Pac-Man. But I'd be like, come on, guys, like, it's 2015. I'm a little bit shocked that people are like, oh, you play first-person shooters? Like, yes, I do. I play lots of games. I think the other thing that kind of bugs me is, I grew up with gaming. I didn't just get into it recently. It's basically been from the furthest back I can remember, I had a console. That's because my parents bought me a Super Nintendo when I was a little kid. It's the first console I had, and kind of just went from there. So for me, it was the norm. I loved video games. I couldn't wait to go to Blockbuster and rent games and own games, and Santa bring me a game, blah, blah. And it's sort of just normal for me. Like, I grew up with games just like other, boys grew up with games. And I was a tomboy when I was a little kid, and I chose other games that I thought looked interesting, like Legend of Zelda. Like, I played all these games that looked fun and interesting to me. I didn't just pick a game because it had a girl on the cover or because it looked, super cute or anything. I don't know. I played a game that looked interesting to me. And again, like, I like all sorts of genres. I like racing games. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's sort of an odd concept to me. It's almost like saying, I'm a girl, so I only watch romantic comedies. It's like, okay, no, that's not the way it works. Also, there are guys I know, well, I mean, not in person, but I know guys that have played the Hakuoki games. If you guys don't know what that is, they're sort of visual novels aimed at women, because it's sort of like a girl in like the 1800s in Japan, and there's a bunch of men, and sort of like a dating sim visual novel. Whatever, it exists. And I know guys who've actually played that and beaten it. So, and they don't care. They're not embarrassed. It's just a game. It's fun. Whatever. Or guys that I'm sure really enjoy a game like Candy Crush. That's sort of just a simplistic puzzly game, and who cares? We all like what we like, and it doesn't matter what your gender is. I think that should not dictate what you like in gaming. It's kind of interesting. But, I have to admit, sometimes, go line up for a release, and you go line up for something that's really stereotypically masculine or directed at males, like going to pick up Grand Theft Auto 5 on first day, and it's like mostly men in the lineup, and it's like, I must be here to pick this up for my boyfriend, right? It's kind of like that vibe, and it's sort of like, I don't know, it's a little frustrating, but again, I know things are getting better, things are changing, stereotypes of women in games are getting better, like Lara Croft, for instance, is not a total skank anymore, yay, because those games are really fun to play, and it's a little distracting when she looks like a total bimbo. It's like, no, a little inaccurate, guys. So, anyway, so things are getting better, but I'm just sort of wanting to talk about what it's like to actually play lots of video games, be a gamer, but also be a girl. For starters, most of the people who do what I'm doing right now on YouTube are mostly men. I don't know if you've noticed, but there are barely any women that do this. I know a lot of the women that do this, and there's YouTubers, girls that do this, but most of the like popular channels, it's mostly men. Think of all the big YouTubers we all know. It's all guys. There's a few girls who have made it that are like pretty popular, but in general, the big timers or whatever, it's all guys. So I'm hoping that changes and we start to get more of a balance going on here, because there are so many women that play games, and that's just, a fact, and girls play every genre. Like, I did sort of like, I guess it's sort of one of those things where it sounds so old school, like I'm talking about something from the 40s, like, only women cook. It's like, no, that's not true, or silly things like that, because I feel like it's no one would question what I watched for movies. No one questions like my music. But for some reason, gaming still seems to be very, very masculine, or it's almost like, not that I play a certain game, it's not like I play Call of Duty, no one cares about that, it's just the fact that I'm a gamer in general. But if I was a guy, and I just talked about video games, be like, oh yeah, cool, but it's like, oh, it's like people are, I don't know, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't really experienced too many like negativity, directed towards me because I play games and I'm a woman. But I've certainly noticed stuff, with just the stereotype in general of being female and playing games is kind of annoying to me, and I just wanted to talk about it. This is a total Femtrooper rants video, but I want to get it off my chest because it's just, again, one of those silly things that's like, can we just not be so stereotypical and just let people play games and let them enjoy games? Let's just be honest. There's not a lot of girls or women that do what I'm doing on YouTube. It's mostly male YouTubers, as far as making, the gamer videos. Not a lot of women. What I find annoying, though, is the women on YouTube, a lot of them will use sexuality to get views. Why I find this really annoying is because it actually only furthers the stereotype of what a girl gamer is, and secondly, male viewers continue to support it. So it's kind of a 50-50 thing, and they just don't realize that they're actually making the stereotype continue and get worse. Let's go with an example here, and let's talk about conventions, because I love conventions and I love to dress up, I love to cosplay. But since when did going to a convention and cosplaying mean dressing up as a slut? That is something that I just don't understand, because it seems to be that if you're a guy and you want to cosplay, whatever, you can be Superman, you can be a Jedi, you can be Master Chief, whatever, who cares, it doesn't matter, you just dress up. It's kind of like Halloween. With women, it's almost expected now that they dress up in a scandalous outfit or a sexy version of something, or they pick an anime character in a really skimpy outfit, and that's sort of what is expected and what also gets attention, what makes you end up on a cosplay video at some convention. People like seeing these sexy outfits of girls at conventions. Why? I'm not saying you have to dress extremely modest here, but it seems to me that there's not a ton of in-between, and what is frustrating to me is that men will dress up as, say, a doctor, but women will dress up as a sexy nurse. And I mean that, I say sexy nurse because I mean sexy nurse. Women don't dress up as a nurse, they dress up as a sexy nurse. And it's always a sexy version. So it's like sexy Pikachu, sexy Leia, even sexy Femtrooper. Look up Femtrooper on YouTube. Sorry, not YouTube. That's me. Look up Femtrooper on like Google Images, and there's tons of girls wearing like either crop tops stormtrooper outfits, or they'll be wearing like a stormtrooper, but there's like a huge, like the breastplate area will have like huge boobs. It's like not necessary, because I just feel like that would not really be happening on the Death Star, but call me crazy. There seems to be sexier versions of everything, like for example, like Wonder Woman. You can dress up as Wonder Woman. I know she already kind of has some skin going on there, but women seem to take that further. They take it to another step. They, instead of being, just Wonder Woman, they're all of a sudden like really sexy Wonder Woman. So they got like their cleavage going on there. They got really, short shorts. We got cheek going on. or it's just really made up. But men, this isn't the case. No one says I'm going to be, you know, Captain Shepherd and, you know, show some leg. Like, there's just like, there's no sexy version for guys. No one expects a guy to dress up as like some really, you know, slutty Luke Skywalker. This is not a thing. But if you're dressing up, it's like, oh, I'm going to do some Star Wars cosplay. Definitely going to be Slave Leia. It's like, there's so many other versions of Leia to be. And hey, go for it. Like, I'm not saying you can't wear like a bikini at these expos, but I feel like it seems to be the norm to have to be sexual, and it isn't for men. It's not. Men don't have to dress that way, and that's sort of frustrating to me. I love to cosplay, and I love to dress up, but I don't necessarily want to be like, you know, I don't know, like, I don't want to be slutty Beetlejuice. Like, that's just not the intention. I like to be things in their true nature. If I want to dress up as like I was Lydia Dietz, I don't want to be slutty Lydia Dietz. I want to be Lydia Dietz. I want to try and be as true to form as possible. That's the fun part for me, is dressing up as something that is, as opposed to, ooh, if I wear a crop top black and white shirt, I can be Beetlejuice. Like, no, that's silly and unnecessary, and it attracts attention, but it attracts attention in the wrong way. I think that's what I'm trying to get across, is that women are sexual objects and men are just cool stormtrooper dudes, and then women are like the slutty versions of stuff. And it's like, no. And then it makes people they don't take women as seriously, because they come to these conventions wearing bikinis, and it's like, hey, I don't think people are going to take you as serious because the men aren't doing that. So, you know, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. That is sort of my history and my thoughts on being a gamer and being female. I'm not going to say I'm a girl gamer. I hate it. I'm a gamer, and I've always been forever. But I thank you guys for watching me rant, and I'll see you guys later.